Hello everybody and welcome to Basic Photoshop Retouching for Dentists. This is the extension of the portrait photography workshop given for dentists. So I want to show you how I get my retouching done relatively quickly because I'm a busy dentist too, and I got to get it done fast because I want to keep my hands in the mouth, not on the keyboard. So let me get right to it. The first thing I do when I bring up a picture in Photoshop is I make my global change. And my global change is done by clicking on the image tab, going to the adjustments, and clicking levels. That brings up a histogram similar to the one you see in the back of a camera. And I'm just going to squeeze down the histogram so that I just have basically what's seen in the picture. The rest of the stuff's just extra stuff, so we can get rid of it. And then we can do that varying amounts to our liking. And I'm going to keep it just a little bit brighter. I'll click OK. All right. So the next thing I do is my spot retouching. I'll get rid of the small flaws first by clicking on the healing brush tool. The healing brush tool is going to bring up the ability to get rid of fine lines, wrinkles, little spots, maybe a freckle. You want to get rid of a little red spot there. I'll option click next to the area, and I'll click directly over the spot I want to hide. So it gets rid of little freckles and things. Let's really smooth things out. There. Okay, so we got rid of a lot of the freckles. Let's just retouch the left side of her face. I'm getting rid of some of the extra hairs. By the way, this is my wife Colleen, and she's given me permission to retouch her face and post it on YouTube. How cool is that? And I'm only going to retouch half her face. So how weird is that going to look? We got some red spots down here. Let's get rid of the reds. There we go. Gets tricky when you get to the border. You gotta be real careful. Okay. There's a lot of freckle. Let's get rid of the freckle on her nose there. Just the skin color here. All this I'm still using the healing brush tool. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to whiten the eyes, how I whiten the eyes. So what I like to do when I whiten the eyes, her eyes are already pretty white, but when I whiten the eyes, I just whiten a frame around the iris. I don't whiten the whole entire eye. It looks fakey. I click on the dodge tool. Exposure set at about 50%, and I just start clicking right around the iris. And we just keep doing it until we're happy with the amount of whiteness that we've brought into the eye. That's it. So now we got her right eye is brighter than her left eye. A little weird. Okay. So the next thing I want to show you how to do is get rid of large amounts of wrinkles using the patch tool, because I use that really frequently too. You'll see if somebody has a lot of wrinkles under the eye or they have bags under the eyes, this is a great way to get rid of all these wrinkles at one time without having to do a bunch of little clicks with your healing brush tool. So I'm going to just carefully create a little circle, not really a circle, but a connection of the line underneath the eye that encompasses most of the wrinkles. Complete the circle. And then I'm going to click and drag it to some smooth skin nearby, which happens to be on her cheek. And I'll let go there. And what that did, after I control click and deselect, is it smoothed the entire area underneath the eye. Looks pretty good. And if I don't like the border of that, if I think that looks kind of fake, I can go back over to my healing brush tool. Option click nearby and just kind of give it a little blend. There. Let's finish up with some of these wrinkles. I don't like to take out all the wrinkles. Depends on how young the person is, but I like to leave some of the wrinkles so it doesn't look too fake. Click nearby. There. I just finished up with the healing brush tool. We want this to be pretty dramatic. And let's use the patch tool on her forehead for this line. There. Kind of pull that up. Control click, deselect. We've gotten rid of that wrinkle. And let's just kind of blend in some of these areas with the healing brush tool now. Go. Get rid of the 11s. Good. So as you can see, the left side compared to right side, it's, obviously a big difference getting rid of the wrinkles. It's starting to even take care of some of the shine and everything too. So now let's take it one more step. Oops, wrong button. Let's take it one more step. Let's smooth the skin. The way that I smooth skin is a few steps, but there's no extra applications or programs to do it. You can do it directly within your Photoshop. I create a background copy, basically a layer on top of my background. I go to my filter, blur, Gaussian blur, set the radius to about 5, hit OK. Now the entire picture looks blurry. Of course, I don't want the whole picture to look blurry. So what I'm going to do is create a layer mask where I hide the blurry image behind the actual background image. The blurry image is still there, but it's hidden. You can't see it anymore. Now I want to selectively pull out the blur that's behind the image so we can see it. And that blur is what's going to make the skin look smooth. So I go over to my brush tool. I make sure that the white patch is selected for the foreground. And my opacity is about 13%. If you have too much opacity, then it's going to look real fake when you start painting on the blur. And then I'm just going to selectively pick the areas where I want to blur. Since I'm only doing her right side, I'm just going to smooth the right side. I like to do the areas that look shiny. If there's a lot of shadow there, I'll do that. Anything that looks shiny is going to look nice and smooth when you're done. I'll stay away from the teeth and lips. Of course, I want those areas to look sharp, and I'll stay away from the eyes because I want the eyes to look real sharp. But above the eye looks a little shiny. So I can keep going over it until I like the amount of blur that I've added to it. There you go. And now I'd like to go down the bridge of the nose. I like the way it softens up the nose. So there you go. That's the way I retouch images. As you can see, I can get that job done really quickly, and that's just about all I'll do before I stick it on a wall. The other thing that I will do is I will do some cropping to the size that I want. Say I'm going to put it in a before and after book. I want my width to be, this is horizontal, so 10, and my height to be 8 inches. Say it's an 8 by 10 before and after book. I set my resolution to 300, and I crop. Go. And I selectively move the crop so that she's in the middle, or I can get artistic with it. I can get her off to the side, one side or the other, depending on what look I'm going for. I usually like the teeth in the center of the picture, and I hit crop. There you go. Image is done. It's ready to put on a wall.